Welcome back to the Kaleidosphere, a Dungeons & Dragons Play Podcast. I'm your Dungeon Master, Nathan. Joining me tonight, we have Grant.
Zachariah Harrows, contemplating the lumber and building supplies I just had loaded onto a boat that I'll probably never see again.
I was wondering if you had thought about that. We'll see what happens. Cody.
I did.
Jack Rackman, let's follow this moose.
Pippin.
Moriarty. I know at least 4 recipes for that moose.
Jonathan.
Mitzka, who is wondering if the plural of moose is moose or meese or mooses.
Moosen.
Moosen. Alright, cool.
The moose.
I don't think that's actually it. That's just what I like to say. And Alex.
Klakkr Volkson. Now I'm thinking about moose horn tea.
Join us on episode 22 of our first campaign, To Whom the Sea Belongs. Before we get into the actual show today, I have a couple quick announcements for you. Do you all like how I put the announcements at the beginning of the episode instead of at the end, so you can't just turn it off? Please don't skip forward. You're actually going to want to hear this. There are a lot of exciting things happening on the Homebrew Network, of which the Kaleidosphere is one of now 3 shows. The pilot show I've mentioned a couple times before. It's the Homebrew. The first campaign is Absurdism and a Millennium Abroad, and 3 of these fine gentlemen are cast members of that. It's DM'd by none other than Zachariah's player Grant. This is the second show, and then the third show, which launched only a couple weeks back, is Power Word Fail, which is DM'd by the wonderful Carlos Torres, and I am one of the players in that campaign, so check it out for some more shenanigans. The other thing that I'm really stoked about is the Kaleidosphere is officially on Patreon now, so the Homebrew Network has one Patreon for all of its different shows, so you get tons of content at every subscription level. So just for the Kaleidosphere, at the $2 tier, you get access to city maps and battle maps that I have created specifically for this campaign. Regional maps and the world map are free on the Discord, so join the Discord, but I'll probably throw them up on Patreon for like the $0 like free supplement stuff as well. Also at $2 currently, you will get monthly PDFs of player characters, homebrew races and classes, subclasses, adventure modules, just one PDF every month that is related in some way or another to one of the 3 different shows we have going on right now. The 2 that are out so far are related to Absurdism and a Millennium Abroad, but we're going to be bouncing around between the 3 shows. $5 and up, you get to submit an NPC name to be used in any one of the 3 shows, so specify which show, if you want to show up in the Kaleidosphere or the Homebrew, let us know. Similarly, at the $10 tier, you get a personalized shout-out on one of the shows. So, lots of cool stuff. Those are just the, most common tiers. We've got more expensive rewards for higher tiers as well, so be sure to check that out. All of that said, let's get into this week's episode. Last week, you fought the werewolf, the hobgoblin werewolf. It ended up being kind of an anticlimactic fight because Klakkr was just OP in that battle in spectacular form.
I thought it was very climactic.
I thought it was a great fight.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you all enjoyed it.
I thought it was just one big climax the whole time.
After that, you all started back toward the small coastal town in Reniana, but along the way you were waylaid by a moose who communicated non-verbally with Jack by grunting and mooing and shaking his big moosey head. And then he led you all many miles to the north along the coastline and eventually brought you to a craggy shore that Jack recognizes from his dreams, the shore where he has communed with Yold, the father god of the Gamel religion. It is there that we are going to resume. And so let me describe the shore real quick. Obviously there's a tidal pool of great interest, but I'm going to describe the whole kind of setting before any of you proceed. So the shore is rocky. There's very little sand anywhere along here.
I hate sand.
Okay, Wayfinder.
It's a weird thing to hate.
Beyond the shore, there are a lot of crags that are jutting up. So for those of you that live near a coast or have been to the coast, especially some of the coastline along California, like there's a lot of rocky shore that it's sometimes kind of hard to tell where the shore stops and the oceans or the sea starts because the rocks just kind of keep going. So this is kind of what you're dealing with, and it looks like a lot of this is fossilized coral. You do see shark fins cutting through the water, so even though it's shallow water with all of the coral and sandbars and everything, it is not preventing sharks from patrolling this area. Quite a ways further out, there is a single massive outgrowth of coral with the ruins of some sort of long destroyed house or hut of some sort. Medium size, roughly the same size as like a modern suburban, like middle class house, you know. Might have a second story, might just have a large attic. Yeah, again, that's probably more than a stone's throw, let's say like 300 feet out into, so maybe a stone's throw for Klakkr, I should say. But it's a good ways out into the shore. And then, of course, going inland, you quickly would be submerged in a boreal forest, primarily pine with maybe the occasional deciduous tree. Most of it is some form of conifer or another. And finally, Jack, right in front of you, there is a massive tidal pool that rippled when the moose mooed at it before the moose retreated back into the forest. What would you all like to do?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I don't have noted if we took a long rest yesterday.
You did not take a long rest. You did take a short rest, so everyone be sure their hit points and hit dice are sufficiently modified for that.
Did you mean the moose moosed at it, not mooed at it?
I did mean that, yes.
Okay, alright. I just want clarity on that.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into the pool or see what's going on.
Give me a perception check.
A 10.
Okay.
These waters are kind of murky, I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty much what you would expect of a normal tidal pool, with one obvious exception, which is that it appears not to just end, but it looks like there's some sort of tunnel leading deeper into the ocean. There's like, starfish and barnacles and such kind of on the sides of the pool. Some of them are submerged, some of them are not.
This is a tunnel, mates.
I guess.
Oh, it's another secret tunnel, huh?
Should you shut the fuck up?
I was wondering how long it would take this episode before someone said that.
Not long enough. Jack, should you? What do you? I know this is just a gut feeling of mine, which is odd because I have no guts. But with your, should you get in the pool?
All right.
Oh, just right, like you're turning into aquatic of some sort. There's the pool. It looks like a tunnel. I don't know.
Can Klakkr breathe underwater? Right.
I'll step in.
Or...
No, whales can't breathe
that's a good
underwater. They
point.
hold their
That's
breath.
They have blowholes.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
He
well,
can
I
just breathe
have a horn in
really
mind
low.
right now, but yes.
I have betrayed my lack of basic marine biology knowledge.
Yet again.
You did that when you asked if sharks were fish.
And if my blowhole was like a bag of holding.
Well, that one's a valid question.
Yeah, I'll step into the pool.
All right.
All right. In we go.
You're wet.
You're wet.
See, go down. Go down the tunnel a little bit. Try
All right.
breathing the water. I'll pull you out if you choke.
I'll start swimming down.
All right. And can you breathe water?
Yeah, you know it. You know I can.
Nice.
You can breathe air and water. I have a swimming speed equal to my walking speed.
Nice.
See, I just sink and I could walk along the bottom.
Yeah. So Jack starts swimming around. He pulls the bandages off of his hands, and he's got fully webbed fingers at this point.
Ugh.
I keep going.
All right.
I'm asking if Klakkr can breathe water, but I entirely forgot that Mitzka can breathe water. So Mitzka is gonna go with Jack.
Okay.
She's gonna be like, oh, right.
Oh, if we're going, I can go too. I don't have to breathe. I don't breathe water. I don't breathe anything.
Right.
Well, I'll just stay up here and keep an eye out.
Well, maybe I'll just go like halfway. I'll stay like close enough that I can see you, but that I can, I'll be like the, I don't know, middle.
The three of you have gone into the tidal pool and two of you are remaining behind?
Oh, yeah.
Bye, suckers.
I'm not going down. I'm just getting in the water, and I'm like sticking my head in the water so I can see them.
Okay, well, Jack and Mitzka, you head into what appears to be a tunnel that is clearly deliberate, because you can kind of see it on this map here. You head into an area of coral growths that... It's obviously coral, or fossilized coral, so it's essentially like practically stone, but it's shaped like the ribs of an animal, or like the throat of an animal.
Nice.
The coral arches are spaced no more than 8 to 10 inches apart from one another, so there's still water flowing through this whole structure. You're still completely submerged at all points, but it looks like this is, in a way, cordoned off from the rest of the ocean. So, for example, you can see sharks swimming up close to you, swimming above you, but they can't get to you because you're separated from them by these by these coral fixtures.
I kind of look behind me and see that Mitzka's coming with me, and I kind of aquatically breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, can we speak underwater, or is it just breathing?
It's a good question.
We will adjust based on basically playtesting, because not a whole lot of D&D campaigns actually happen underwater. This one will a lot. I'm going to say you can speak underwater. Sound technically carries better underwater, but you can't communicate to an above water creature while you're underwater and vice versa. Like the water to air barrier blocks noise, unless the noise is like a thunderous explosion, something like that.
That is really foreboding for this trip underwater.
Yeah, I don't know why I'd have to bring that up.
All creatures are considered to have resistance to fire damage while underwater, and the area of effect of lightning damage is doubled. Creatures are not vulnerable to lightning damage. That would just be too dangerous and too game-breaking for both the NPCs and the party members. So a lightning bolt with a width of 5 feet and a line of, 100 feet becomes 10 feet and 200 feet.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Let's do the rest of the campaign underwater. All right, guys. I have a significant advantage here.
What was that? I couldn't hear ya.
Does Shocking Grasp, can I do that from 10 feet away?
Is it normally touch?
Yeah, I think so.
Then yeah, 10 feet. I think that's good.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's like it would
that's
normally
crazy.
be a 5 foot to... Yeah. I mean, remember, that's
Nice.
going to work with the NPCs too, so when you fight giant
Absolutely,
electric
right.
eels, things like that.
I don't know, again,
When?
I don't know why you have to bring them up.
Yeah, what do you mean?
So, you're probably a quarter of the way through this secret tunnel at this point. Would the two of you just continue along your way, or would you want to go back and speak with anyone?
I'll let Jack decide. He's running point.
Let's just keep going.
Alright. And you make it halfway. There's some larger sharks in the deeper water, but again, they still can't get to you. You continue on, again, fossilized coral. There's barnacle growths, clams, various crustaceans and shellfish, starfish. Attached to the coral, smaller fish, like, what are smaller fish? Like minnows and things like that are kind of flitting in and out of the gaps. They're small enough to make it through.
Sea bass.
And as you continue, you notice that some of the silt on the seabed is swirling up to sort of block your passage before you can get further along the tunnel.
I think Mitzka's gonna go ahead and cast light on maybe like one of the coral formations to see like maybe if we can see into that like swirling like dust storm, I guess, the sand.
Okay.
And it's gonna shine like really like green and kind of like otherworldly underwater.
Nice. You do so, and the silt swirls directly at you. I will say there is aggression in this gesture from this cloud of silt.
Okay. Mitzka's gonna start trying to swim out of the way. I figured nobody wants to get silt in the eyes.
Alright, let's go ahead and roll initiative just in case you end up punching the silt or anything like that.
Okay, great.
Aren't you glad you came with me?
So glad.
I got a 17.
I got a 12.
Nice, the silt got a 4, so The two of you will be going before the silt.
I think Jack is going to pull Mitzka back and say,
Hey. Before let's maybe consult with Zachariah.
I mean, it's just.
I have no
a cloud
idea.
of dirt. I think we'll have.
You want me to shoot it?
No issues. I think we could just probably swim through it. It can't hurt us that much.
Inspiration
just
to
trying
Mitzka for the amount of not metagaming that.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Deserved.
I'm really trying to play Mitzka as like the overly arrogant, like, oh, I've had like 3 weeks of training. I know what's going on.
Right.
It's just trying to attack you.
Well,
It moved with aggression.
I don't know that it could be just a warning. I don't feel much concerned by it, honestly. I think we can swim right through it and it won't chase us much.
Well, if that's what you think, I'll follow you.
After you.
Yeah, no, I think Mitzka's gonna go swim right through it.
All right.
Oh boy.
It makes an opportunity attack. You know what? I'm going to be generous and say rather than making an opportunity attack, it just attacks you on its turn
Okay,
after you swim through it.
thank you so much.
Anytime.
yeah,
It crit.
yeah.
That's what I get for not metagaming. That's
Yeah.
what I get. Alright, how much damage does that do to me?
So, Mitzka, that's 8 bludgeoning and 23 acid damage.
Mitzka is knocked out.
That's not even the crit damage. You might be fucking dead.
Yeah, that's
You might just
not
be
good.
100%ed after this crit damage. What's your max HP?
38. I was at 31, so
There's
So
a
that'd be
real
exactly at 0.
at exactly 0, yeah.
Crit damage added is 1d6 and 4d8. Max out all of that puts you at 30. So you are not insta-killed.
Okay, that's good.
fucking
You are-
close enough.
Really
Yeah.
close.
Oh my god.
That's what? That's 2 death failures?
It doesn't count as a death failure. It's just like
Okay.
rather than
Alright.
it would have insta-killed
Zachari-
you if it had done 38 damage.
Alright, well,
Zachariah's head pulls out of the water. He's like, I think I hear a turtle dying somewhere.
Can we roll back the tape of Mitzka saying, it can't hurt us that badly? Like, insert that right here, please.
I really
in
was
addition,
like, wow, I
Mitzka,
won't metagame. I'll be arrogant and say, Mitzka's not afraid of a little bit of dirt.
right. Good thing though, Mitzka, you have technically you have magical armor, right? Your robes are magical,
Yes.
so it does not corrode your armor.
Okay, that's
Oh.
oh great, wow, so
Good to hear.
so good.
Thank you, old, for small blessings. That takes us back to Jack.
I'm so
I will
sorry. I'm so sorry.
attempt to pull Mitzka's unconscious body out of the dust.
You can do that if you use your action to take the disengage action, unless you want to provoke an opportunity attack.
No, not particularly.
We saw what just happened. Well, you saw what just happened. No one else did.
Yeah, I don't know how deep Mitzka is into the sauce at this point.
We'll say her tail is sticking out. She's dragon turtle born, so she has like the long draconic tail.
Okay. Yeah, I can attempt to pull her out.
Should I start making another character now?
Wouldn't hurt to have a backup.
Alright.
Mitzka, can you breathe underwater, or do you hold your breath for a really long time?
I breathe underwater.
Okay, so you're not gonna drown.
No.
Cool.
She is a sea turtle.
All right, so I guess I will. Yeah.
Yeah, so Jack, with the disengage action, you can start swimming away from it with Mitzka.
Disengage.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dragging someone is half speed though, so it's probably 15 feet away.
Let's have some fun and make it 3/4 speed because she's underwater.
Oh.
Very nice.
So 22 feet, round it down to 20 feet.
20 feet.
Yeah. And you notice
Again,
the,
underwater plays into our effect. It's working.
Yeah. You notice the silt cloud actually does not give chase. It just kind of swirls there, and then as you like glance over your shoulder as you're pulling it away, as you're pulling her away, the silt settles back down onto the ocean floor.
Ah, security. Your name's got to be on the list. It's VIP.
And Mitzka very clearly was not VIP.
Once it comes back around to me, I will spare the dying on Mitzka.
Yeah, that means Mitzka, even if you get a crit fail, you're not dead, so you are hanging on for now. Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, boy. Man. Yeah, I think...
Well, let's see the death save just for fucking... I'm just curious.
No, I think we're good. I don't know.
I want to see it. I want to know.
Roll them.
Great.
Roll them.
Double crit fail.
Alright, I got 3.
It's a 3.
Good thing you are stabilized.
Yep.
Yeah. So are you staying underwater with Mitzka, or are you going to go back up to the Tidepool opening?
I think I'm gonna... man, it's so selfish. But I kind of want to just see if it would attack me or if it was attacking Mitzka. But I'm so scared of it now.
I think you
Fucking
could swim
do
right
it.
through I think
Do
you
it.
could swim right there.
Dude, yesterday you said tomorrow.
You
I
hear
think-
like a Mitzka like echo in your head, like, yeah, just swim right through it. What could go wrong?
Can't do that much damage to us.
He led you here. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, maybe it's just you. Maybe you're on the VIP list.
Oh, we can't talk to him. I'm sorry. I'm metagaming here.
Suddenly, here on the shore, I feel like it's a good thing I can't breathe underwater.
You know what's strange? I actually, I could have learned a spell that I could have ritual cast on all of us so that we could all always breathe underwater, and I didn't do it.
Oh,
Weird.
well, that's okay.
It's not too late.
Very strange choice. I need to find some sort of spell scroll and some gold or become more powerful, but I do have a future solution for this problem. Actually knew a wizard way back when who ritual casted water breathing on me every day.
Haven't you been alive for like 2 weeks?
No, I actually had... In another game, I had a wizard who did it every day, and it never came into play, and now I'm a wizard in a water game, and it didn't cross my mind until this moment.
That it's immediately coming into play.
I think I'm just gonna take Mitzka back.
Okay. So the rest of you, you're waiting on this tidal pool for probably like 5 minutes. And Jack pops up again, dragging Mitzka's unconscious body.
Oh my god! What happened?
to her?
Jesus!
There was some sort of strange silt monster underwater. It blasted her in the face with a sandy... I mean, she did say at the very beginning of this episode she hates sand. I should have seen it coming.
Oh, it sounds like the sand hates her too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, well,
I ever feel like Destiny
Excellent callback.
only picked 4 of us? No, just me.
well, I mean, if you were down there for about 5 minutes, and we don't have any way for all of us to be able to breathe water. So there's nothing that we can do about this tunnel, and we're very, very, very far away from our fucking purpose at this point. Why don't you make a treasure map, and we'll come back here.
Well, I think I'm gonna swim back to it real quick.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'll come with you. Jesus fucking Christ.
Zachariah takes his strips completely naked. He is just a pure skeleton right now. He wouldn't look any different from Harris at all, except for I have my lantern, which is magical. It's not like a normal flame, and my arcane focus. And I'm gonna go in with him.
Klakkr, maybe you should go too.
Oh, no. No, I'm gonna stay here. It's okay. You know, someone's gotta stay with the turtle lady.
But I'm not going down there. I can't breathe underwater or hold my breath that long.
Well, then stay here too.
Well, I'm staying here so you don't have to, is what I'm saying.
Why can't we both stay here?
We'll be fucking fine.
Zachariah, stay back. Don't get too close to it. It's pretty aggressive.
if we have to, I'll just get it out of your way so you can go do what you're going to do.
I also want to point out, Zachariah doesn't swim. He jumps in and just literally sinks to the bottom and then walks along the bottom of the seafloor here.
Noted for when you're in the open ocean and fall off a boat.
That's horrifying.
Can't you just let me RP some things?
We're gonna have to install a flotation device under your...
Yeah, right?
Water wings for Zachariah.
I mean, literally though, like, how would a skeleton swim? Like, I don't have any gases in me. I don't have... I guess I
Right.
could just propel
Have you
myself.
not seen Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, where the skeletons are underwater? Was that which one was that? There was one of them where there were
That's the first
underwater
one, yeah.
skeletons. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't remember it for some reason.
And if it happened in Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm pretty sure it's real, so...
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the two of
Adds
you are
up to
back underwater.
And I'm going to say to Jack,
Okay, Jack, I'm going to cast a spell. I just want you to just swim through, okay?
All right.
And let me say, as you're getting back closer to the silt, Zachariah, your lantern illuminates some carvings in the what do you call it? In the coral that the two of you that were down here earlier would have missed. Mitzka, the light source that you cast, would have illuminated these as well, but right after you you did the light in response to the silt popping up, so your attention was otherwise kind of focused elsewhere. These runes are... Zachariah speaks both Islander dialect and Arohavian.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, it's Arohavian and Islander dialect.
It's an ancient dialect of Arohavian that is reminiscent of Islander dialect as well. And it's telling the story of a tall human and a short human and some animals. And I can recount the story up until the point at which you would encounter the silt, or you can encounter the silt now and I will recount the story later. Kind of up to the two of you where your focus is directed.
I feel like the story could be pertinent to the silt.
Yeah, I'd like to get what I can first here.
Okay.
I never thought I'd say that.
So there was a tall human and a short human. The implication is parent and child. And the shorter one drowns at sea. And you see carvings. Again, there's one carving roughly on every couple pillars of coral telling this story. And so the parent is on their knees and elbows, hands clutching at their head. It's a fairly rudimentary drawing, but it still conveys grief fairly effectively. And then there's depictions of the older parent rowing a boat out to where the child drowned at sea and building their house next to the child's grave, as it were, on a small island in the sea. Sun and moon go over the house. Time passes. Not quite sure how much time. And then 4 animals approach the house. These animals are a polar bear, a hare or a rabbit, a fox, and a walrus. That is all of the story that you get before encountering the silt.
Okay. Jack, there's a halfling and a Goliath. And the halfling looks like it can't swim. Can halflings swim?
As good as the next.
Yeah, so this Goliath, he can't swim, and so he's sad that the halfling can swim. Or can't swim? I'll have to study this a little bit more. Well, now I'm curious. I was going to cast a fog cloud so that you could just swim through and do what you needed to do, but I kind of want to see the rest of the story now.
and I can't see. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is while Jack finishes this, I'm gonna cast Unseen Servant as a ritual and have the Unseen Servant get the rest of the story for me. So order of operations here, I'm going to cast Fog Cloud so that Jack can swim through and fucking find his destiny, whatever the fuck we're doing here, not saving Jack. And then I'm going to ritual cast Unseen Servant to read the rest of the runes for me.
I didn't know we were here to save Jack.
I'm saving me from me.
Hudson, sorry.
Oh, you meant Hudson. Okay. Yeah.
Moriarty, stop yelling into the pool. We're trying to be stealthy here.
Mechanically, you can't hear people on the different levels.
So he's just like got his ear down to the it's like a walkie-talkie, like press the hear button, press the speak button.
I'm very good at it. I was married to a mermaid.
So, my fog cloud isn't casting.
Man, it happens to the best of us.
I don't. I've got no clue what that one means.
Fog cloud has a radius of 20 feet. It's going to obscure you from the silt monster. So the silt monster will not be able to attack you, or at least it would have disadvantage while doing so. But it couldn't take op attacks, so you could just swim straight through really fast.
I will attempt to swim through.
Alright.
I see no way that could backfire.
I literally
You
just
use your
watched this
brain.
backfire big time, but
So Jack, you swim through the silt cloud and continue along the coral tunnel a little bit more. And does Jack know Aerohavian?
No, I know West Anakin, Trade Speak, and Primordial.
Primordial. Make a your choice. Make a history or investigation or insight check.
A 12.
Okay, with a 12, you get the gist of the pictograms, but you don't get direct translations of the Aerohavian runes. So you see kind of the conclusion of the story, and you get a sense that you're missing like the middle like beat.
But I do get past the old silt monster here.
Yes, you do.
Do I think it was because the cloud, or do I think it was because it was me?
Great question. Insight or Arcana, DC 12.
God damn it, Jack is worthless at insight.
I am not insightful.
I'm just wandering down this path. I have no clue what's going on. I don't understand the
clue.
cryptographs.
Yeah, you do understand the pictures. You see so you miss like a middle chunk of this, but you see the older human offering the corpse of the younger human to the animals, and they're ravaging it and taking its hair and its teeth and its bones, and then they run away.
Wow.
And then afterwards, the parent is apparently very happy and lives a fulfilled life for the remainder of their days.
Zachariah probably doesn't need to see the rest of this.
Right.
I think it.
After that, Jack, you come to the end of the coral tunnel, where there is an entryway into an underwater chamber inside a massive, like, coral cave, essentially. Like this just massive outgrowth that's been hollowed out on the inside. And there's in Aerohavian runes, there's an inscription above the doorway, but there's no physical door, so you could go straight in if you choose to.
Yep, I'm gonna go on in.
All right. And you have dark vision, yes?
I do have dark vision.
There you go. So, Jack, you swim into this cave. I will describe it to you, but just real quick, I'm going to cut back to the shore for our friends. Mitzka,
Right.
or let's see, Moriarty, I saw you roll your special marinade earlier. Was that to heal Mitzka?
Yes, before they were really going down, I did cast Cure Wounds, which is actually just Moriarty's special marinade, so it heals people, because, chef things.
Right.
And that'd heal him for 8.
Great. So, Mitzka, you're back up with 8 health. You do have 1 level of exhaustion from being knocked out. So, Klakkr, Mitzka, and Moriarty are on the shore. Is there anything that you all would like to do while waiting for your other 2 friends, or are you just kind of hanging out?
Klakkr takes the horn out of his blowhole and carves everyone's initials into the stones around the pool.
Nice.
Including Hudson Swift's, just it's like separated from the group, but it's there.
Aw.
Yeah.
Mitzka's like laying like with their eyes closed, like she's still not doing great, and you just hear this like soft like humming that sounds like under the sea. And she's just laying there, eyes closed, and pretending to be asleep, even though I would imagine both Moriarty and Klakkr would probably suspect that she's not, but she doesn't want to answer any questions about what happened.
Right.
You might want to heal up a bit before whatever got you gets you again, Just putting it out there.
Mitzka's pretending to be asleep still. Pretends not to hear that or respond to that.
And then I kind of lean over to Moriarty and I say, I can see her breathing and I can see that her eyes are moving, but I don't think she wants anything to do with us right now. I think she's ignoring us on purpose.
It's the weirdest thing I know, that she's horrible at this pretending. Like, she didn't even close her eyes, and she looks at us when we talk about her. Like, she is really bad at this.
Can Mitzka roll perception to see if she hears this?
Wait, I'm sorry, were you guys intentionally whispering so that Mitzka wouldn't hear?
No, I'm projecting it towards Mitzka.
Yeah, no, Mitzka hears this.
I was trying to be a little discreet, but yeah, I guess.
Moriarty is not having any of that.
Care.
He's just like, it's almost like Mitzka's really bad at this, about pretending
Alright.
that she's asleep.
Gonna roll over at this point and then like sit up and put her feet in the water.
Does she need help rolling over from her shell? She like goes side to side a few times and then flips over.
I hadn't thought of that, but 100%. It's like so much more pitiful to watch.
I will say, that can be a quirk specific to Mitzka and certainly a challenge for some Dragon Turtleborn, Again, since they have the more draconic tails, many of them are able to use their tails to kind of not suffer the same way that a turtle might, but it's still a wonderful image watching Mitzka flail around.
One of these days, I'm gonna find a suction cup that just sticks to Mitzka's back, and then so when she lays down, it sticks to whatever surface, and then she'll really be stuck.
Maroon her on an island.
I was just more thinking like, the floor of a cabin and on a boat or something like that. You're just stuck there.
Just put her on the wall.
At least a little better for her.
Put her on the wall.
Just pop her up on the wall.
Like your high school bullies in like an 80s film.
Yeah.
Giving me a wedgie.
Anywho, Mitzka may want to heal herself up. There was something that apparently beat her.
So Mitzka like rolls over and then like kind of puts her feet in the water, but then kind of like puts her like hands on her knees and then her head in her hands. And she's like, Master Kinawan was right, I'm really not ready for any of this. I really am too arrogant, huh? Thank you so much for healing me. I really appreciate that. I'm sorry I haven't been much help on this adventure of ours.
And I'll kind of go up next to her and I'll sit down and be like, oh, hey, things go wrong sometimes, but, that happens. You're here now. You didn't die. And then can I take out... Hold on. What is it? Can I take out some of the, like, powdered saber-tooth horn that I have? Just, like, open the bag and just kind of, like, motion toward her?
I'm not sure what you want me to do with this.
I don't know.
Moriarty's gonna go to the other side of Mitzka, put his arm around her, and pull out some of that seaweed. Light up a little bit, and he's gonna be, so how'd you like the spatial marinade anyways?
Wow.
Well, I am conscious now, so I assume that helped me a lot, so I mean, could I have maybe a little bit of both, perhaps? I don't want to... They both seem like good options here.
Oh yeah, help yourself. And I take my fingers and I kind of dip a little into my bag and I just take the powdered saber-tooth horn and I just kind of like rub it on my teeth.
It's horrible. Also, the thought of you like opening your mouth and these like, orca teeth, this like killer apex predator, and then you like rubbing tiger.
And I growl. I go.
That's a perfect growl.
What is going on back on shore?
This fucking seaweed is hitting hard. I thought I just heard an orca, roar like a tiger there.
Mitzka's gonna absolutely take a dab of the saber-tooth tiger powder and rub that on her teeth as well, although they're much less fearsome and terrifying than Klakkr's. And then she's absolutely gonna take a hit of the seaweed as well. Maybe she's gonna puff and then pass it back to Moriarty. And then she's gonna ask, so, what was any of that anyway?
If you have to ask, you don't want to know.
Yeah, before Mitzka gets any answers, I think we'll cut back to Jack. Just loved wondering.
I just would like to point out that Mitzka literally has zero clue what either of those substances are.
So, Jack, you're in an underwater chamber carved from the interior of a massive coral fixture. So you see first this large coral coffin in the middle of the room on the ground. Around it, there are skeletons that have sunk, obviously, down and met their final resting place around the coffin. Directly above the coffin, there is a heavy, ironclad trapdoor that is shut, and you see claw marks under the trapdoor, evidently where the skeletons were trying to claw their way out. Now, the room is roughly 20 foot tall, 20 foot wide, 20 foot deep, but again, not a perfect cube. It's, rough-hewn edges from the coral. A patch of ground in the room is bare silt rather than just completely coral, so the three things that are not just coral on the walls, ceiling, and floor are the trapdoor, the open waterway that you came in from, and the patch of silt that's kind of at the head of where the coffin is. There are ancient Arohavian inscriptions on the coffin, but again, I know you don't read Arohavian, so I can't translate that for you.
Sure.
Is there anything written in Arohavian down there? Sound it out phonetically.
Are there any, claw marks on the coffin or whatever?
There are not, just on the trapdoor.
Ugh.
Would what I've found from the rest of the story be helpful in this instance, Nathan?
Oh, good point, because you sent your unseen servant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would. I'll give that to you, Zachariah, and then you can shout it to Jack. Let's see, so the unseen servant reports back to you. Can it communicate, or can you see through its eyes?
Let me double check the spell description. It doesn't say I can communicate with it telepathically. So I think it is... No, I think it's gonna have to, go read it and then come back and, draw in my notebook for me.
Oh, sure, okay. Sure, so I left off where the four animals approached the house, right? Mm-hmm. Swam out to the little island. So the parent is comes out of the house to see the four animals digging up the corpse of the child.
Jesus.
And at this point, the pictographs mix with ancient Arohavian runes, so there's some dialogue. It almost like comic book fashion, like the ancient precursor to the comic book. So the parent, whose name you can see now is Tigal, he is obviously furious, and he bears a spear at the animals and says, "What are you doing? That's the resting place of my child." And the animals, in turn, plead with Tigal. And the fox says, "How do you think that we get our teeth?" The walrus says, "Where would we get our whiskers?" The rabbit says, "What about our vital organs? We have to get those from somewhere." And the ice bear, the polar bear, ultimately says, "We must perforce steal from the dead. From death comes life. Life eventually turns to death, which begets life." And upon hearing this, Tigal responds that they may take of the dead as they must. And so this contextualizes the scenes that Jack saw that were disturbing to him, that would make more sense, especially to Zachariah, but would make more sense if Zach had the middle part, or if Jack had the middle part of the story. The grateful animals are appreciatively taking the hair, the teeth, the entrails from the child in a display of respectful symbiosis. And because of his generosity, the animals repay Tigal with kindness, and for the remainder of his days, he lives in somber happiness, but a form of contented happiness nonetheless. That is the end of the story, painted on the side of the coral, but there's also an inscription over the doorway into the watery crypt where Jack is currently, and the inscription is in ancient Arohavian as well, and it says, "Ice bear, walrus, rabbit, and fox. are you prepared to suffer a terrible loss?
Okay. Does this resemble my, like, the root of my, in my mind, this resembles the religion that I have followed to some degree. Ankasan, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
Are there similarities there in my head, or is that a...
Make a history check.
Sure. I got an 18.
Yeah, the similarities are... You're very well read, so I'd say the similarities are there, but you feel fairly, like, proud for noticing them, because this is a region heavily, like, influenced by Gamelism. This is where Gamelism originated, was in Reniena, Erohav, Dakharal. So the similarities kind of predate written or kind of indoctrinated religion when ideas flowed and traded and morphed more freely without things being as, like, set in structure as they generally tend to be nowadays. So a very ancient tie between Gamelism and Ankosan.
And then can I do a religion or history check on the significance of the polar bear? Kind of like the moose. Is there anything there?
You can go ahead and make a history check for sure.
I botched. Wait, though. I might feel like I have something for this that gives me advantage. I need to remember what it is, though.
You have some sort of undead knowledge from ages past that gives you, like, an extra d6 or something like that.
Oh, yeah. So it's still... Well, are skill checks botchable for you? Does it matter if I add a d6?
Skill checks are not auto failures, so it could matter. Like, a d6 could help.
Ooh. I got a 6 on my knowledge from past life, so that takes me up to a 14.
With a roll of 1 on the d20, I might add. You're very historically knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bear does trigger something in the Gamelism pantheon. That would be Fjorlig, the goddess of justice and honesty, who is has the, like, holy symbol of a bear nurturing 2 cubs.
That's funny how wrong I spelled that.
Oh yeah, it's Norse. Fjorlig.
I'm shouting this information. Jack, can you hear me?
Just barely.
I get it. Wait, you don't know about the bear?
Wait, what? I don't get it.
So, there's an inscription on the crypt that you just entered that says, "I spare walrus, rabbit, and fox. Are you prepared to suffer a terrible loss?" And the story here has to do with some type of ancient creatures repurposing human corpses, similarly to I do. I definitely see some similarities there, but I'm worried that that place you're in might be some type of ritual chamber or sacrifice or something. I don't know what's in there, but...
There's a hatch and a coffin.
Okay, I wouldn't touch the... Well, the coffin might be someone who sacrificed themselves. Perhaps this is some sort of ritual. I'd come in with you, but... What's that? Is the hatch up or down?
It's closed.
I know it's closed. Is it above you or below you?
It's above me. There's claw marks all over it. I don't think it's gonna be easy to open.
There's claw marks and a coffin. So whatever was in the coffin maybe tried to get out?
There's also like 20 skeletons that line the room.
Okay, so people are sacrificing something to whatever's in the coffin, and the thing that they try to get out, and they claw at the hatch. So people are throwing people into the hatch to the thing in the coffin. So I think we're dealing with, like, water vampires, and you should leave.
Water vampires.
Jack, by translating or by kind of describing the characters, the Erohavian runes that are on the coffin, and shouting them back to Zachariah, the two of you can determine that the inscription says Rikad, son of Tigal.
Okay, it's probably not a vampire. But why are they sacrificing things to it? Why are they trying to get out?
I think there's some of that silt. There's some silt in here.
There is some silt. It is not stirring. It does not appear to be animate.
I could be wrong, but I think people come in here and they get attacked by that silt. Just like you got attacked and Mitzka got attacked, not you.
Look at the bodies. Look at the skeletons. See if there's any sort of, like, teeth marks or claw marks. See if they just drowned and decomposed over hundreds of years, or if they're like... if they've been
sandblasted.
You're sandblasted.
Yeah, what do you want for that? Like a survival or perception?
Sure, I'll take a survival.
Persuasion of
Not
the
a
body.
persuasion.
Tell me how you died.
A 23 survival check on these bones.
Yes, there are not, like, bite or damage marks on the bones themselves. It appears that they died of drowning. I will say there's some treasure scattered throughout the skeletons, and you said like 20 skeletons. I'd bring the number down to about like 8 skeletons. The treasure itself looks like it's worth more than nothing, but it might not be worth the trouble of like bringing it all out. Like, it's a bag of like some gold pieces, might be easy to grab. There's a sword with a ruby like embedded in the hilt, but the blade is rusted beyond usefulness, so definitely some monetary value. But the point to focus on, I'll give you this for a survival 23, is they all came into the tomb with some amount of treasure, which they still possess.
So they're trying to make a sacrifice, maybe, or trying to offer something?
I will take off all my clothes and leave
Jack,
all my
warn
gold.
me!
Zachariah can't see any of this. There's a fog cloud and a silt cloud in the way.
Yeah, I'll take off all my clothes and leave my gold and my magic pen and my nightlight.
But aren't you still bringing some booty?
No. How dare you?
That's
And
good.
I'll leave it all on the on next to the coffin there. And I will stand there naked and awkward for a moment.
All right, make an awkward roll.
A 15. That's a pretty awkward, as nothing seems to happen.
Yeah, nothing seems to happen.
What are you doing, Jack? Give me
I was
updates.
making a big sacrifice. I was giving rid of all my stuff.
But you just said they still had their stuff, so obviously what they're giving is like organs. I told you the story. Does the hatch
Don't
open?
have any
Just try the
organs.
hatch. I feel like we're overcomplicating this. Just try the hatch before we do anything else.
I'm gonna cast Mage Armor.
Okay,
It's still naked, but mage armored.
right.
Yeah. So I'm like, I've got my electric field aura up. And I will lightly try the hatch.
Well, let's just give it a little. Let's take a look at here. What do we got going on here for this hatch?
I'll swim on up to it.
Yeah, it's still locked. Can't get it open. Either or both of you could make, I think history would be the best, history checks, or Jack could do it. Actually, I think it's better if we just have Jack do history with advantage.
I have a very good history, though. God.
Part
15.
of why I thought it was better for Jack to do it with advantage. 15 is good. So, you remember the father buried the son before the animals dug it up, and with the inscription, "Are you prepared to suffer unbearable loss?" You get the sense that whatever treasure you relinquish, you will be relinquishing permanently, not just dropping it.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. I'd have to get rid of it.
Right.
I'm just trying to decide which organ is the least useful now.
Give it your penis.
That is very useful to me.
I've never seen you use it.
I use it every day
What? Where?
when you're sleeping.
I don't sleep. I mean, yeah, when I'm sleeping.
If you had skin, you would have been able to tell that water where you were swimming earlier was a bit warmer.
Yeah, it scared the piss out of me when Mitzka died. Almost.
What if you became a real pirate and got rid of an eye? Had to wear an eye patch?
It's scary. Stab my own eye out.
Or like a kidney. You got 2 of those.
Oh, they took my freaking kidney.
Especially after the plus 15 awkward roll. Like, really concerned that I'm going to rip my own eye out and be like,
Is this not enough for you?
I mean, do we know that that's what...
I don't know what it wants.
And you can't look back from there.
Can I roll like an insight check? Like, do I think Jack's on the right path here? Like, he has to give up an organ?
Sure, you can roll an insight check.
7.
Yeah, it seems like a great idea. I think you're right.
Jack, you remember this is coming from a skeleton. Jack, can you make either an insight or a perception check yourself? Give just a little bit more.
A 14.
Okay, so you do feel like you're on the right track, either with material goods or part of your own body. Either would work if it's significant enough. You feel that there is a specific area in which you're supposed to bestow your gift. Just kind of dropping it willy-nilly doesn't really do it.
So I'm getting the vibe as the more I think about this that I need to put it on or in the coffin. Is that what I'm kind of getting? That's what I don't know. That's where I went with this, the more you said it. I will put it on the coffin. All my stuff.
Nothing happens at that point.
It seems like from what I gathered from what he just said, it seems like the significance of the item plays a bigger part than possibly what it, like, if it's, like, organic material or inorganic material.
Right, can you describe your equipment one more time? Or your inventory?
It's mostly gold at this point. I just have 105 gold. But I do have a wooden shield, a magic coat, a nightlight, a magic pen. But I guess I see where it's going with this, and I don't have like a blade.
How metal would it be if you fashioned a bone blade from the skeletons to cut your own eye out? They'd tell stories about that one.
You can use my horn.
Jesus.
Wouldn't that really just be bone, not metal, though?
Courtesy chuckle.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks for the sympathy laugh.
I was gonna say unconscious turtle says what, but
I'm conscious now, thank you very much.
Conscious and stoned.
Yeah. I don't even know how I would go about overcoming my own, fear of this, but I would guess I would start trying to pull my own eye out.
Okay, make first a wisdom saving throw.
Do you want help? I mean, I can do it.
Step through the silt.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you do this alone.
I'm going to try and sneak through the fog cloud.
Okay, so I will give that to you. You can join him in the mausoleum, and I'll describe it briefly for you, Grant.
Oh my god.
You find yourself with Jack in this room, roughly 20 feet in all dimensions, but rough walls. It's all made out of fossilized coral. There's a coral coffin in the middle of the room, 8 skeletons in decent repair, with some form of small treasure around each one, and a patch of bare ground that's just like silt instead of coral. And then above you, kind of in the middle, there's the trapdoor.
Are you sure about this, Jack?
I don't know. I'm at my wit's end.
I mean, your god brought you here. I understand.
Zachariah, I put my hand on your shoulder, which is funny because it's kind of the thing that you always do to people. And I say, I brought you guys out here. I convinced you to go after Hudson. I convinced you to follow a moose into the woods. I convinced you to swim through a tunnel full of sharks and silt. And I am gonna rip my own eye out to figure out what's going on in here, so we didn't waste all of our time.
Jack's standing there butt naked, I'm naked. I clasp arms with him.
You're naked too.
I'm naked too. I clasp arms with him, and I'm like, Jack, and I'm like breathing just really like, Jack, we don't do anything alone, and I pull his eyeball out.
God damn.
So, Jack, make a wisdom save.
Oh my
I told you to do that before the first time.
god.
Oh man.
You succeeded. The DC was 10, so you take half of 3 sanity damage. So you only take 1 sanity damage from your eye getting ripped out by a naked skeleton.
By a naked skeleton.
I'm just reeling. Blood is flowing into the water.
Alex and I had the same look of horror on our faces, I just looked up and we both like mouth agape, like hands over our heads. That was
I didn't think me
horrifying.
suggesting that would actually come to fruition.
I'm just standing there with my eyeball, with Jack's eyeball.
You put it in your socket.
Yeah, no. You'll never be alone, Jack. Not again. We're in this together.
Oh God.
And I try to hand him the eyeball. Which I imagine the little like parts of it that have come off are like floating. You know what I mean? Like behind
the eye
eye
stem and the nerves. Yep. There's blood that's like seeping out into the water. You hear the sharks beyond getting more frantic, but they still can't get into you.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of stand there reeling, and I say, well, thank you, Zachariah.
You're welcome. Are you gonna do something? This is a little awkward.
I guess I take it and I put it with the rest.
Did Zachariah just make Jack holy?
Yes.
God, I'm horrified.
So you put it with the rest of your equipment on the lid of the coffin?
Yeah.
Yeah, still nothing happens.
Oh, I knew it!
You are 100% on the right track.
Maybe we have to put it in the coffin. Should we put it in the coffin? Jack, are you okay? You seem a little distracted. You were so focused.
Fucking eye got ripped out of my head, Zachariah. It's hard to think.
If anyone figures this out who isn't present in the room, you can put it in the chat. Like, I'll allow a little meta here just because it's like a puzzle and 5 brains are better than 2. No offense to the 2 brains immediately in question.
I don't have a brain, technically.
My only current train of thought is to move all of my stuff to the silt, but I'm horrified of the silt.
I mean, have we tried the coffin? Is the coffin locked? I keep saying it.
I haven't tried the coffin. It seemed disrespectful.
I mean, you just put an eye on it. I don't.
Got a point there.
I put my hands up like 2 scales. I'm like,
Opening a coffin, putting a dismembered body part on it. I don't know.
I'm willing to try anything at this point.
Okay, stand back in case this explodes.
and I'm gonna try to open the coffin.
All right, make a strength check.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
All right, here, let me help you.
Oh, I got a 16. 16's not too bad.
It does not budge.
I can't do it. I'm sorry. Maybe the coffin opens after we solve the puzzle.
Could you explain the room for me one more time now that I know there's a puzzle?
Yes, it's roughly 20 feet in any dimension.
Mm-hmm.
It is all coral. The walls, ceiling, and floor are all coral.
Mm-hmm.
There is a coffin in the middle of the room, 8 skeletons around it, each of which have a modest amount of treasure that they did not part with. The top, in the center of the ceiling, there's the locked hatch. There's the open doorway that you both came through. There's no door, just a door frame of coral. And there is a patch of silt just above, or not above, but in front of the head of the coffin.
Okay, so the people who died didn't give up their things. You've got your... do I need to leave? Maybe is that crazy? Like, maybe if I go, then, you know what I mean? Since you've given everything up, maybe I can't be here. Or maybe it's the silt. The silt's the only thing we haven't interacted with.
I am scared of the silt, Zachariah, but let's interact with the silt.
I don't think silt's ever hurt anybody, ever.
So, we can do two at once here. I'm gonna stand just outside the room so that I can still
Just like
help him if I need to.
thumbs up, just like waving.
No, I mean just in case, like, you know what I mean? Maybe me being here
Yeah.
without having sacrificed
it.
anything is part of it. And then you interact with
And
the
I
silt.
will
so I'll be-
relocate my belongings to the silt.
And once you do that, the eyeball sinks down into the silt. The silt washes over it. The rest of your equipment is not affected by the silt. And the hatch swings open.
The eyeball was enough.
I think so.
Get to keep your stuff.
Do you think so?
Aye.
Wow.
Well, go. Why don't you go meet your destiny or whatever? Talk to your god. I'll get your stuff. I'll go back.
All right.
I'll swim through the hatch.
I'll gather up Jack's stuff back through the fog cloud.
And then the silt kills Zachariah.
It can't see.
By the time you get back through the fog cloud this time, Zachariah, I'm going to say the fog cloud dissipates once you're safely away from the city.
Okay.
I can recast it if I need to.
Yeah. And Jack, so you pop up through the hatch onto this island of coral. Technically, that's a misnomer. An island can't be made purely of coral. But regardless, you are in the middle of these ruins here. And so back on shore, stoned Mitzka and Klakkr and Moriarty, you see Jack Rackman, now completely naked, pop up on this island.
And then Zachariah pops out of the pool with all of his clothes. And I'm like, it's a long story.
Right, and you see blood pouring down half of Jack's face as well.
I look at Mitzka and Moriarty, and I look at the seaweed, and I look at the saber-tooth dust, and I look back at the seaweed, and I look back at Mitzka and Moriarty, and then I just stare blankly ahead without saying anything. I'm like, Klakkr thinks he's on a bad trip right now.
You guys told me this was gonna help, but this is kind of weird. I don't know if I like this. Look, is Zachariah a skeleton?
That's right, you haven't seen Zachariah before.
That's actually normal. He's always been that way.
That's actually
But
normal.
the other thing is got me kind of wondering though.
It's a really long story. I don't know if it's my place to tell.
No, you're being a
Mitzka,
skeleton
pokes
is
her
kind of your
finger
story.
through Zachariah's ribcage.
I mistake the gesture and think we're hugging and kind of like awkwardly half hug her and then realize we're not hugging and I back up.
Right.
Mitzka accepts the hug. She's pretty out
Receptive.
It's longer than most hugs.
there. Mitzka has 0 perception of time.
So Jack looks over with his one good eye, and Mitzka and Zachariah are locked into a long hug.
Mitzka keeps trying to break off like when your mom drops you off at like college or something. You're like, okay, gotta go. Let go.
Mitsuka's enjoying putting her fingers through like different parts of like Zachariah's like skeleton, like
Okay. All right.
like putting her finger like through where his eye should be.
Just do that to Jack.
Jeez.
I start to like prestidigitation Jack's clothes and stuff to like dry them out.
Oh, that's kind.
Mitsuka backs off when they embrace eventually.
Speaking of Jack, so Jack, you are in the middle of this this house. Only the stone and coral blocks remain. It apparently like used to be made of wood and maybe thatch as well. You can't really tell all of the material, but as you're standing in the middle, dark thunder clouds swirl in the sky overhead. All of you can see this, not just Jack. There's flashes of violet lightning. It's also late in the evening at this point, so the sky is kind of a deep purple as well, amplifying the effect. And a spout of water swirls up from kind of directly opposite of the shore, clearly visible to you, like it's making a lot of noise and motion, no attempt to hide. And it materializes into the form of a very old man, sagging jowls, long hair, some seaweed stuck in his hair. And he says, "I am the spirit of Tigal. You have proven your wit. You have proven your discernment. You have proven your determination. Can you prove your strength? You must face my soul, my spirit, my remains. And should you triumph, you may possess my totem." And he gestures, and you see on the taller chunk of coral on this like kind of 2-part island, you see this large totem, probably it's like 20 feet tall, carved of black pine, and the totem depicts from bottom to top, a walrus, a polar bear, a fox, and a rabbit. And the spirit of Tigal says, "You may challenge me. You may do so with the help of your friends on the shore. I will wait for them to arrive." And then the churning water backs off from the island a little bit, but maintains its motion. Misty, like, wind buffering it, kind of sprays your face a little bit. And you can challenge him, you can prove your strength, your valor next week.
Oh.
We can't do the awkward yelling back and forth from the beach here. He said you could come over. What?
Did he say how, though?
That's exactly what Mitzka was gonna ask.
Will you ask him if we can take a rest first?
Find out next
How's
week.
your eye doing?
Not good.
I singular.
It's lonely.
Oh.
This has been the Kaleidosphere, To Whom the Sea Belongs. Thank you for joining us on this epic voyage. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, leave a written review. Please let us know what you think of the show. Get in touch with us at linktree/the Kaleidosphere to find links to our Discord, Twitter, and email. And pop on and hang out with us. It's a good time. This campaign is dedicated to Brandon, who we hold in loving memory. To Whom the Sea Belongs is set in the Kaleidosphere. That's kale, like the vegetable, Ido, I-D-O, sphere. Join us next week as they continue the quest for this, whatever the moose intended, as they encounter the spirit of Tigal.
And Jack gets Mitzka killed.
Absolutely.